How's it going, everybody? Today on the show, we finished doing XLR like we started tomorrow, or yesterday, and maybe tomorrow. Random live stream. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another random live stream. Today on the show, we finished building XLR project that we started yesterday. Before I actually cannot do this tomorrow because I have to leave around noon to take a flying to Winnipeg. We're gonna do a quick in and out gig with my beautiful, really happy to be part of band La Chicane. I'm not in the band actually. I'm just a sound engineer for these guys, but you guys get the point. So, no quick introduction, we're just getting down and dirty, straight into the making of the XLR. Here I have one plug already. Let me give me some light here. Gonna need a tiny bit more. Nah, way better. I don't know if I'm getting old or it's just too dark in here. Alright, so we're just gonna do some cabling today. Having a good time. You guys were there yesterday. We had some really interesting question. And while we're doing this, if you guys want to have the floor, if you guys have questions that you want to be answered, now is your time. I'm not gonna talk about how I do XLR for an hour. We're gonna do quick question Q&A. Let time for people to join in. When I'm doing a random live stream like I'm doing right now, I don't expect you guys to join right away. It's just how life is when doing streams. I did not put enough in here. We're gonna put a tiny bit more solder in at least pin 2, which is the most important one. Pin 1 and 3 in this scenario here are jumped. By the way, I checked the one that I did yesterday. I checked the connection that I did. The whole kit is working fully, so we can go ahead and green flag the project. This is working the way it should. I'm gonna try not to breathe too much of that fume here, and we're just gonna start flying doing XLRs. I'm soldering the ground here on pin 3 just because it's closer, and we're gonna jump pin 2 and 3, and just let me double check because it's the morning. Good morning. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, pin 2, we're right. I finally did something right. Is that what Doug Brown says in Back to the Future? I think it is. So yeah, basically this is just what we're doing here. I'm gonna jump in the 2 pin together, and we're just gonna finish building that XLR connection. I'm running faster today because yesterday an hour and a half to do a single connection was a little bit much, or longer than I can afford to do it, so we're just gonna fly faster. But don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes I can read the chat, do a connection, and not get it wrong all at the same time, so don't be afraid. Sorry for all the background noise today. Also, we have a lot of stuff happening in the house. Do some cleaning. I did some cleaning, and my dryer is getting loud when I'm in the studio. So if you have some background noise, it's actually 2 things: the dryer and the fan that is next to me blowing the bad smoke away from me, because you don't want to breathe too much of that stuff. So we're just gonna cut that here, push it down there, thought I did that here. Fill that with solder and call it a day. Mundia, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. Hey, hi. Don't be afraid to say hi. Don't be afraid to ask a question, because otherwise it will be boring for both of us. Questions that are related to the world of live sound, by the way. If you have a question about the meaning of life, you need to ask life. Alright, so that's one down. We're not gonna do anything with our orange wire in this scenario because we're gonna cut that connection further down the line, so it's not gonna do anything. And actually I think I'm gonna pull it out to make it easy on herself. So that's it, we're ready to close this one. I'm gonna build that XLR. That's good. Oh, on the other one we said that we want pin 3. Okay, we want that locking connector to be at the top. This is what we're doing here. This is what we're gonna be doing. What is the device holding the XLR? You mean this clamp? It's just a clamp that I got many years ago. I saw an old timer guy having exactly one like these, and I asked him where he purchased it. And I probably have that clamp for, I'm not gonna say 20 years, but definitely 15. It's been working great. As you can see, there's paint on it. It's done a lot of project, and I've lost my little part here. I've done a lot of project with that thing. It's been with me for 15-ish years. So really reliable, not really expensive. I think I paid 20 bucks for that many years ago. So add inflation to that, still affordable. We have our female connection build. It's straight. We're gonna do the screws. I'm gonna need my Letterman to do that. I'm just gonna go down quickly on this one. There we go. And that's about as fast as I will try to build connection or connectors here. Ah! I'm gonna try not to stab my thumb too much with a screwdriver. I don't really recommend that to anybody. Please love yourself. I usually do love yourself. Don't hurt yourself, on purpose or not. All right, we got this, we got this. We're gonna put the retainer in. Little black plastic part here. We're gonna put the boot on from the other end of the cable. And I debate if I should do all 24 connection that goes at one end of the cable, and if we should do the second one afterwards. I think to go faster and not thinking, I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna start to do connection after connection. So this is what I do. I don't need much to solder. I'm opening up the cable by about 1/2 inch. It's all I really need to work. We're gonna get the foil out of the way because this cable has foil and a ground wire, so it's making it it's a Canair cable, by the way. It's cable that is sold for permanent installation from Canair. I'm just gonna wrap that thing up, wrap that ground cable. There you go. Rip it up. Getting the foil out doesn't really matter. I'm gonna skin just a tiny bit of the white cable here. Like, can you guys even see? I can maybe crank the camera just a little bit. It's a little bit dark. I'd rather this to be too bright. So yeah, just a tiny bit of the white one is poking through. Gonna do this. Gonna put just a tiny bit of solder in here. There we go. Same for the ground wire. That's even too much. That's it. We're good to go. Let's take a connection out. I have a full bag of connector here ready, and we're gonna use them all. There we go. All right, cable ready. Just need to do this about 22 more times. Yeah, I try to go too fast here. Make sure that I have good pool of solder to receive the cable. I'm gonna do this. And on this one, I have enough leverage to go to the pin 1, not cheating it with pin 3, but anyway, it doesn't matter because they are linked together in this scenario. Good enough for now. We're gonna add a piece of wire here for pin 3. I'm just gonna take that out. Twisty. There we go. I'm just making myself like a piece of ground wire. That's going to be jumped to the other ground wire. I'm going to bend that in place. And let's fill that thing with solder. It doesn't really matter as long as everything is really well covered. Et voila. One more down. I'm going faster. That's the thing. Yesterday it was way too long for me to do these and explaining at the same time. Now that I explained it and I did that for about an hour and a half, I think we're good. I think we can start building connection faster and I can just ride through it, because otherwise I'll be here like till the cow come home, and that's a little too much for what I can afford time-wise in my schedule, especially today since I'm catching a plane again. This is my Rockstar week, 2 show flying really far away from home, a few thousand kilometers on one side, a few thousand kilometers on the other side from Montreal. Oh, come on. Getting it clipped in is the hard part with these connection. That pin here is hard to pass and I don't want to break anything. Alright, that's good, that's good. That's it. We just need that. We need screw. We need not to stab my thumb again. I like my finger. I'm gonna need those to mix tomorrow. Will be a better idea if I don't stab myself in the thumb with a screwdriver. All right. Cable retainer. Just need the boot, and we're gonna be 21 to go. Come on, guys. I'm gonna need some of you to be more active here. Otherwise, I can speak like that and be boring for an hour. Floor is open for your question. Anything that has to do with the world of live sound, live production. If I don't know the answer, maybe somebody else in the chat do have the answer. The audio community on YouTube is getting bigger and bigger, and I'm really glad to see that. I had a really weird sleeping schedule, and around 3 in the morning I end up on a live stream of, is it Red House Studio? Another guy who's doing wing content. Really cool guy, and some of the people in the chat knew me, and I feel like hold on, scrap the connection here. We're gonna correct that. There we go. My crimper went too far and I destroyed the isolation on the white and orange wire. That's an issue. Should I try what Rolf said yesterday? Maybe I can try that. Rolf said, for those of you who don't know, Rolf is one of my oldest viewer. He's been around a lot. He said, don't jump between pin 3 and 2, just split the ground wire into 2 connection. I'm gonna give that a try. I don't know if it's gonna be any faster, but what I'm afraid is because the ground wire most of the time act as a way to be a retainer. So most of the time I'm using the ground wire as a way for the connection to be safe and not pulled in. It's probably not gonna break, but I'll give that a try. Herman, hey man, it's been a while. How you doing? You abandoned me. No, seriously, good to see you, man. It's I've been missing you. You had really good question back in the day. Always fun to see some old familiar faces, like Nick, who's in the chat right now. You stopped doing wing. What are you talking about? Did you went to the dark side? Did you went LA and Neat? Did you abandon? Did you abandon us? It's funny, I'm actually waiting for a packet to come so I can start making some custom balloons with TechFlex. Good morning, Nick. How you doing? Me and Nick were texting yesterday about some secret stuff that I cannot talk about here. That has to do with consoles, of course. And I didn't know you were doing cables today, or you're gonna try to do cable. I'm pretty sure you know what you're doing when it comes to solder cable. Pretty sure you have enough under your belt to know how to do that. You've been actually, for how long have you been an audio engineer, Nick? It's an information that maybe you told me once, but I don't remember from the top of my head. I remember your age, but I don't remember how long you've been doing this. You're still using the wing. But now we have 3 more guys in the audio team, so I'm not mixing often. Oh, that's sad, dude. Mixing is the best and worst job in the world. When it goes fine, it's the best job in the world. When it doesn't go as planned, it's probably the worst thing to do ever, because when it's, when you're not gonna save it. And it happened to me, and it's still happening from time to time. You're doing a show, sounds like crap. You're not gonna get really far with it. It's like, why am I doing here? What am I doing here? I love mixing. But man, maybe tomorrow will be a rough one. I don't know where I'm going. It's a 200-seater theater, and because we requested subs, they had to rent subs. So it's telling me that the theater usually don't have subs, which it's not a bad thing. It's just telling me a lot about the kind of venue that this is gonna be. So we're gonna have a good time. It will be my first time mixing in Manitoba, so I hope it will be a good time to remember. And honestly, with the amount of experience that I have and the amount of bar that I've done in my life, and I still do from time to time, it's usually those small shows that end up being special. And if I'm taking time and I'm, if you don't look at the EQ and you EQ the PA like there is no tomorrow, it's usually sound great. It's not gonna be the loudest. It's not gonna be a festival with 40,000 people with crushing subs that can make your vision vibrate, but it's usually fun shows. Nick, you've been doing this since 97. Okay, so you're a full 10 year ahead of me. I graduated, actually I started back in 05, but I graduated tech school in 2007. I have a paper there that says on November 21st, 2007. So it's gonna be almost 20 year, actually 2 year from now. It's gonna be 20 year. Sorry, I'm doing that away from the camera, right? Let me change the angle of the camera just a little bit, so you guys see more of what I do. So that one's done, that one's done. Actually, give me your opinion. Nick, you're making some custom looms, PowerCon, XLR, and Cat5. What's the end game of these? Because I'm debating right now with my band, the one that I'm touring with. If you're into French music or French Canadian music, it's a band called La Chicane. It's probably well known. Really huge success in the late 90s, 2000, sold millions of albums. Mostly in Quebec, not really in France or other places, but I'm pretty sure it's known elsewhere in the world. But I'm touring with these guys and I'm debating if I should make myself some custom looms for the band with everything pre-wired, and it's a big investment, and I'm not gonna get, that's the thing, I'm not gonna get any more money out of the band. I'm already renting them the full system, and it's just part of, you know, making it work. So I'm debating if I should save time and how much time I'm gonna save versus the effort that I will have to do, and monetary effort that I will have to put in to make that happen. I'm debating if it's worth it. And I would like to have some real life example of stuff like that. Saving time. Okay, time is a big reason why you would do something like that, definitely. Also combo power, XLR, Cat5 for stage monitor and mains and subs. Yeah. I'm also debating, I'll try to push a company that I'm working with that has LA112s. And I try to push them to build single power line with RJ45. Could be Cat 6, could be Cat 5, doesn't matter. It's for Dante to run the whole system with like one line. Like you rig it up, you send that cable, the other cable goes to a switch, or it goes to the other speaker, because the 112, when I calculated, it's so efficient and requires so little power that you can run a full stack of 6, because you can only rig up to 6 speaker per side with that one, but you can run a full stack with safely on a single 15 amp plug, like easily, not a problem. You can even run the sub if you're like, if you know about it and you don't go too crazy. I think the full rating of the system, subs, or 2 subs and 6 stub, I think 2 subs and 6 stub is about 20 amp peak. So if you're not clipping it, you should be under like the power recommendation to run that kit, no problem. So I think it's a way to go, to have power loom already pre-made for that kit and just go like, well, I'm gonna need a 20 amp circuit, call it a day, and you just like have a small switch to bring everything Dante together. Let's finish that connection and take some more questions. Nope. Sorry, I'm having a hard time doing two things at the same time. When things go tricky, I can speak into some cable and soldering, but if like on that one I needed to be careful what I was doing, I'd rather pay attention to the XLR connection that I'm building, because that's almost no second chance type of connector here. We're using the REN, the cheaper Nutric connection, and I don't think they will forgive as much as the original Nutric do for overheating or over leaving your gun on it too much, or soldering iron, should I say. So okay, that's solid. How was testing the cable you made yesterday? It worked as expected. I just tested this morning before I start to build. I also test the length. Also grabbed the cable and went out, grabbed the case that this is going to be in, and I made sure that I can, get one connection on one side and the opposite side for that is going to work, because the way it's going to be connected is going to be one at one end of the cable to the left, and maybe I can do it the other way around and having it in the back, but I would rather have it from the front. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 all the way to 12. So far we're having a good time. So far everything is working as expected. Length of the cables are good. The cables work properly with the HP1. So so far this is a concluding experience. To go back where we were before with Nick says, I'm playing around with the idea of starting to use a Midas DL8 snake in conjunction with a Hub 4 and DP48 to use to eliminate one analog snake on stage opposite side of the console. Funny enough, I'm also debating if I should get myself a bunch of DL8 and a couple of hubs, because the overall result is cleaner. I like my band to be clean. I think it makes a lot of sense to have maybe 4 or 5 connections, 4 or 5 XLR connection or RJ45 connection to connect everything, and having a box with all the cable remain plug in the XLR, and all you have to do is coil everything on the box, put it in the drawer or something, sliding into a case and taking it out the next gig. Basically the same thing that we used to do with 12 pair back in the day, where everything was Veeam. The Tour, they used to have like one Veeam per position, one Veeam per player, where you had all your connection to that player. Let's say drum, you had your stage box with 10 lines of drum, 2 for the monitor of the drummer, in-ears of the drummer, and you were leaving all the cable on the box itself. You just coil everything on top of it, you put it in a drawer. The next day, drop the box on the floor, uncoil the cable, plug everything, run a Veeam, lock it in, going out. I think that the idea of the DL8 being a one cable solution, so power and data, having that approach makes a lot of sense instead of running loons and power everywhere, because usually power is provided locally. Nick is using the XLR cable and RJ45 adapter to RD-NEC to control the speaker. and use RG45 for 4-channel analog audio to drive the subs. Okay, makes sense. So that way you have one type of cable and you just put adapter if you need to. Makes sense. All right, let's keep going. It's not we're doing good so far. This is connector number 5 today. I have a few hours with you guys, so it's currently 10:35, and I probably gonna need to leave around noon, so we have plenty of time. I think we should be able to do at least all the N female connection, or because this is stereo XLR, we can call it the left for all of these, the left connection. XLR to RG485 adapter is Andy. Oh yeah, I'm currently purchasing some to have in my backpack, just like for everything, every scenario. Like, oh, we don't have any XLR run here, but we have a Cat 5. So okay, or run a Cat 5 to replace 4 XLR cable. Makes a lot of sense to me to do that. So this is why I'm also debating, should I build a band that has a couple input per person? That's the thing. If everybody was like a guitar modeler and a mic, everybody was using 3 to 4 connection per person, I could definitely see myself touring with RG45 to XLR adapter kit. But because the band that I'm doing right now, it's mostly 6. Drum is 12, but I can probably short it down to 8. And there's some stuff that I cannot cut down, like keyboards have to be stereo. My keyboard player has 2 keyboard, one basically a piano and a B3, and he's singing, so that's 5 line plus wired in-ear. I love wired in-ear, by the way. I know a lot of people do everything they could to go wireless. With experience nowadays, I can say that if you don't know what you're doing with wireless, why don't you go just wired in-ear? It's gonna sound better. It's gonna have less latency, and you don't have to worry about the batteries. You don't have to worry about anything. Fire it up, it just work. That's a debate that I have currently with one of my guitar player. We're using his Kemper for his in-ear. Well, actually, we're using his Kemper for 2 things: being a guitar modeler, and also we're using the aux in to send to his headphone on the Kemper itself, and that act as basically a headphone amplifier for him. So that way we only have one device to bring to every single show to take care of everything he needs. Let me try to do this. Oh, I'm stupid. It's way more easier to do this. No, it's not. It's not easier for me to do, to insert it before. Come on. Well, actually, maybe it is. Anyway. Okay. No, it's not easier at the end of the day because I'm struggling now to get that all together. Okay, I'm not convinced yet about the method that I'm using to build these connection. It's not fully efficient, and I'm all about efficiency. Come on, right here, right here. Clamp that down. Tiny little screw. Screwdriver. Speaking of DL8, I saw there's a firmware update, 3.1 or something. The site is for new P11. Is it P11? Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading here. Is it P11? How's the back of my head, by the way? Did I do a good job shaving today? PLL. PLL. I don't know. New PLL? I don't know. Sometimes Music Tribe, they put stuff in the firmware release. I can probably talk about that. They put stuff in the firmware release that should not be public yet. They did that with the Flow 4 or Flow 12. I don't remember, Flow 4 or Flow 12. It's basically a new product that I can announce here. World exclusive. I don't think anybody talk about it. It shows the picture of a Flow-like device, like the Flow 8, but it's a camera recorder, like a zoom camera recorder. I think it's the Flow 4. I don't know how much you can. I don't think it's a console, to be honest. I think it's just a recorder. So don't hold your breath for a Flow 4. Anyway, I think the Flow 8 is the perfect size for small gig. Like you're doing small, tiny corporate gigs, you just get the Flow 4, get the Flow 8, and call it a day. But there's definitely a Flow. Like I don't know why they put that in the Flow category, but it's in the Flow category. Right now, the prototype at least are called Flow 4 or 12 or something like that. But it's not Flow 8. Flow 8 is the console that you know. You know, it's a little annoying trying to make my own Cat 5 to XLR adapter. I've noticed that every company does it differently. The only thing they share is the shielding, send phantom power. No, actually, it's not the shielding sending phantom power. It's the two connection inside the cable, the two non-bare wire, and they only use the ground to do a potential difference, a power difference between the two cables. This is, I don't remember, Colin Scott got a great video about that, what he called that phantom power. Go, if you don't know Science of Loud, Colin Scott is a great source of information for that stuff. He's a scientist. He's a real life scientist that loves guitars and recording and everything because he's doing a lot of YouTube. I love the guy. Like, he's a Scottish guy, but I wish I could live closer to him. I would probably have really good time having conversation with that dude. He could be one of my friends, basically. He's the kind of guy that I hang out with when I'm not here with you. And once you get used to the Scottish accent, it's cute. I love it. Cannot be worse than mine, so. With my French Canadian accent. All right. Firmware 3.1 for stage box as a delayed power booth, phantom power, I think. Not sure about the other stuff. I wish they would update the X32 and M32 to work fully with the wing. What's going on with the X32 and M32 in the wing? It's M32 in the wing. It's been a while since I tried to put both those consoles together. I usually just use wing nowadays. And actually, funny enough, I just did a show on X32. And I'm gonna do a few more shows on X32 in the near future. Just make me miss my wing a little bit more every time. Not in the sonic category, but just quality of life. Like, we're so lucky to have something like the wing at that affordable price. It should be illegal to have a console that cheap that does so much. The internet police or the sound police should arrest us to have wing, because the features are out of this world. The only other few company that have console that do that much are priced 10 times higher, like the Digico stuff. Yesterday we were talking about having, like, what kind of feature I think I would need on the wing that is not there. Macros. If you add macros to the wing, it's pretty much a poor man Digico. And when I say poor man, I mean because it's just cheaper. I know that will piss a lot of people off, especially at Digico. I'm gonna need a tiny bit more here. More solder is more, right? More is more. I should definitely get a Yngwie Malmsteen more is more reference here. You guys saw that video, right? Yngwie Malmsteen saying, like, I don't understand what people think that say that less is more. Into music, everything is more is more. I'm like, no. I did a show on a Digico with no sound grid and use my wing as plugin. No way. Really? You say that just to make me happy, or you said this to be joking, or you did that for real? Tell me that you did that for real. Really interesting. That's good to know. The old schematic I've seen use the shield as Phantom Power. I should look up for this stuff. Yeah, the Phantom Power stuff. The way that I understand it, and it's been a while since I've been at school studying that stuff, to be honest. All I know, the part that I remember is if you don't have a ground, or if you don't have a shield, or pin 1 on an XLR, Phantom Power will not work. It will be still a balanced connection as far as I understand, because if I understand electronic correctly, the fact that it's balanced, it's because it's a twisted pair. But Phantom Power, if I remember the video correctly, is because you basically send positive energy or positive DC on pin 2 and 3, yes, on both, and you are using the shield as a negative as a way to have a difference in potential, in power, for that to activate the electricity, or the change in energy and resistance with the cable. So this is why you need you need a ground wire or a shielded connection to have phantom power. And anyway, I don't understand in audio why you don't want a shielded connection. Like, it should always be a shielded connection no matter what. There is no reason not to. Because saying, oh, it's still gonna work but it's gonna cause you a problem, is not an option. So now you did that for real with the Digico, with the plugin, with the Wingus plugin. I needed the transient shaping for the drums. Okay. Because you don't have the sound grid stuff. If you don't have basically a Digico, do you need a sound grid rack to go with it? Like, I know you can probably do a show without one, but is there? As far as I know, Digico doesn't have that much plugins. It's not, the basic of the console is not a console built on plugins. Use the Digico insert to send signal to the wing via Dente. Use the channel, like, yeah. You can do the 24, you can do the 24 user to do exactly that. This is how I've built the Dreamweaver Studio. When I went to LA to the Gary Wright's house, 2023, when I went there. Wow, it's been almost 2 years. In December 2023 is when I went to the Dreamweaver Studio, and me and his son Dorian, we had a good time together, and I gave him a couple of tips here and there about the studio and how to integrate the wing. And the way that we did integration of the wing is we use the wing as plugin for the Cubase session. 24 custom user, and we basically use the console as inserts. And because you can use the insert pre and post fader, and that's still in the chain, you have all the effect internally available, plus whatever you will want to have in Cubase. And we also integrated the real hardware that he had, like his Chandler preamps, and some good old reverb. I don't remember exactly what, the classic Lexicon. He had one of those good old analog Lexicon. So we use the wing as insert point for that inside Cubase, and we use the user signal to insert everything else in it. You can do much with that thing. The wing, some people ask me if I think it was a good idea to have the wing core and use that just as a routing matrix, and I think it makes sense. Sorry, I clicked that. Those of you who don't know, on a bass drum, if you want to get that like Pantera clicking sound, heavy metal, like balls to the walls, kick that just click, 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 the gate is part of the sound. Because a gate, and you can do that experiment, that experience yourself. Take a gate on your wing or anything that you can do an attack time of almost 0. On the wing, I believe is 1 millisecond, the closest you can do if you use the stock gate. give that a try. And just with a mic, you can just tap the mic itself. If you just tap a mic with your finger and you set the gate with a really fast attack time, you're gonna hear a crack every time that the gate's gonna open. A clack. And if you know what you're doing with a gate, you can use that to make your kick drum sound more clicky than it really is, because you're using the crack sound of the gate to shape the tone of the bass drum that you basically want to get. Okay, the bass drum is not clicky enough. Okay, I'm gonna set the gate attack time way too fast. And sorry, I try not to poison myself. You can make that gate basically being part of your the click part of your bass drum sound. Add to that a oscillator like I'm using, you know, and you can basically reshape a kick to sound nothing like the real thing is sounding, because you add some clickiness and you can add some bottom end with a tone oscillator. There's many ways to do this, but yeah, a kick drum, a lot of rock guys care a lot about their kick drum. This is a technique that you should try to tackle with. The wing gate go as fast as 0? I don't remember. I didn't remember it going to 0. I thought it was 1 millisecond, the shortest. Well, I guess I don't know my console enough. Maybe I should quit YouTube, right? I don't know that console enough to talk about it. Getting there. There's a few more to go. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 to do like this, and after that is gonna be the trickiest part, to do the right part of that insert-ish cable. I don't know how to call that. 2 mono XLR to stereo XLR makes no sense, but it's kind of what it is. Almost there. So, okay, let's go back to what In the DAW said. There is no transient designer on the Digico stuff, and as much as I like Digico, I don't play with them a lot. The last time I played with a Digico was at the Montreal Casino. I played with the 334. Is it the 338? 338, the big one, the big one, and I had a huge rack of plug-in, so I kind of don't have the only Digico experience, even if I had the full Digico experience. But I can probably go and take a look at some Digico. A friend of mine who's in a church about a mile down the road from me has been asking me for years to go do a tour of his church. So he's got 2 full-size Quantum there. It's the crazy kind of church. Like, they have everything. They have 24 channel of Accent. They have PSM 900 for everybody with a few spare ones. They have 2 Quantums. You know, that kind of there's no limit on what you can ask for places. Kind of like the Montreal Casino a little bit. Montreal Casino is like that. Like, mega church. It's a mega church. The Montreal casino is a little bit like that. Like when I was there last time, I was asked, "What microphone do you want?" And I said, "Oh, you more Shure or Sennheiser here?" You go like, "We only have like a few of both, but mostly Sennheiser." And I'm like, "Okay." It was the highest end of Sennheiser. Is it the 5000 series? I don't really remember, but it was like, how many of those do you want? 24, 48? But it's you know, you can expect that because it's the Montreal casino. You hope for them to have money, but church, most of the time what I know from church is they don't have any money. Okay, let me do my proper ground splitting because Rolf is so right. It does make my life a little bit easier. Quantum console. Well, man, I should buy. So I would buy so many wing in HD96. Yeah. Actually, speaking of HD96, did I tell you guys that I'm gonna have a hair soon here? I think I can talk about that. I can start to tease you guys about it. I'm gonna have an Air soon for a demo. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it yet, but I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have a loaner for a couple of days to maybe do a show on one and experiment with it with a multi-track. I'm just gonna need to figure out what multi-track should I use from what artists that I've recorded, because the wing is so nice and allow me to record artists so easily. I can just grab an SD card, record my band, and I have a multi-track to work with. And because I'm only using DL Stagebox, I have a good quality multi-track to work with. Actually, it's not true anymore. I have a DL32 now and a DL8. Oh, HD96 sounds amazing. Let's still need to take some notes from the wing. We're gonna see that. Maybe there's something in there that we don't know. Maybe there's I know you and I, Nick, talk about the expander, and like we just spoke a few minutes ago, expander is the way to go, I believe. Other than if you don't want to have the gate or effect, I don't know if I should say the gate effect, but the impact of the gate on your signal. Four band EQ buses, and it's only 4 band on buses. It's not 6. No downward expanders on channel. Yeah, the metering, yeah. Basically, you have to use a TC Clarity if you want to meter digital. Okay. But it's, I believe the TC stuff is built in, right? Yeah, the things sound amazing. That's the thing with Midas. I had a conversation yesterday with, no, not yesterday, on Saturday. When are we? No, on Tuesday. Oh man, it's been a rough week. On Tuesday, I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's part of a big show, and he asked me like, what's the good way to get some processing down on some huge amount of vocal for live, and he's basically building a tribute show. I'm not gonna say about who and what, but he's basically building a tribute show where we're gonna have a lot of guest artists that are paying tribute to somebody who passed away. So some of you may know, some of you guys probably don't care because it's all happening here in Quebec. But anyway, just to say that he's basically asked me if what's the best way to get some really cool stuff going on a lot of vocal. And I know he's a producer. I know the guy is producing a lot of album, and he's a Pro Tool guy. So I said, your best option out there to really get some processing going is going to be in Wavell V1. Hey, Jennifer Henry, what's up? We're just making some XLRs here. Having a good time making cable. Actually, let me bring that back to the boring camera. Oops. There you go. This is what we're doing. Live on Twitch and YouTube. Also, the panning behavior on a bus and matrices, yeah, can be a little annoying when setting up a show. Yeah, we spoke about that. I remember talking to Pete about that when I did my interview, maybe last year. Put everything up to the middle by default. Yeah. Yep. All right. So, one more down, a few more to go. What time is it? 11:10. Okay. We may have time to finish these, and I'm gonna need a break because even if I have some air around me here, I think I can do 3 more. Yeah, we can do 3 more, and I'm gonna take a break because actually we can take a quick coffee break here. That's it. That's the kind of break that I like to take. 5 seconds, get a sip of coffee. Let's go. Let's go. Anybody else on Twitch? It's fun to see that you can have a kind of content that really makes it on YouTube. And as much as I could try on Twitch, nothing is happening over there. Maybe, I don't know if I'm not present enough. I know the Twitch crowd, people that stream on Twitch are hardcore streamer. And because I'm a live sound engineer for a living, I cannot be in my basement streaming all the time. It would not be fun to just do that. I prefer to be out there on gigs than streaming. Streaming was fun during the pandemic. It was a really good healthy way for me to going through it, to be honest. Because I was working, I was still doing sound. It taught me a couple of new things, like I've learned a little bit more about broadcast, how broadcast is working. But there is nothing that beats a live crowd, 5,000 people in front of you, streaming. It's a thing. So as much as I respect people that do Twitch, I'll side project on Twitch. but there's no way there's no way I could give up my career to do Twitch streams. Twitch only works if you take bad playing games or 360 no scope. Yeah. You mean you need to have you need to be selling fans, right? Every kind of fans, computer fans, but only fans, right? You need to. Yeah, this is because I'm not into fans. We're into connection here. We're not fans. I'm not blowing. I'm not. Whatever. Yeah, every fans matter. We should. I don't know if it's a politically okay joke to say that we should do a joke saying that only fans matter. Maybe I'm stepping into something too political that I don't know enough about here, but yeah, fans matter. Oh, sorry, I didn't put that on the screen. It's just too. Yeah, it needs to go in there, definitely. Everybody needs fan content. Yeah. Let's not go too deep into that one. Did I say that? Let's talk about XLR connection, right? That I know about. Side project. I think Twitch is a good side project. I don't need another layer deeper. Actually, funny enough, YouTube is a side project for me. Because if, for some reason, maybe one day, I can make some kind of significant income in a matter of, I could teach online, I could see myself doing YouTube as a retirement plan. Like, I retired from gigs. I like to talk about live sound, as you guys guessed it. But if I could share knowledge with some new folks, old folks, people, this is something that I like to talk about, and I struggle, even with my engineer friend, to have time to sit down, talking about stuff and not getting too emotional, because some people like to get really personal when it comes to mixing. I'm doing it this way, and it's been working fine for years. There's no, you cannot talk about it. And like, okay, those are not open-minded. But I feel like here on the channel we have a little bit more of open-minded people that have different background, have different result, but we can talk about it a little more. Not everything is, the grass is not always greener at your neighbors. You know, I have a way to mix because of my background, my cultural background. And funny enough, did I talk about that yesterday? Probably. I went to see a musical on Tuesday, and as a guy who's mixing mostly French Canadian band, the level of vocal matters a lot. Depending on the culture that you have and the way that the records are mixed in that culture, you will have different kind of mix. And they're good. Like French Canadian, we like to have the vocals sitting just on top of the music. American guys like to have the vocals sitting like even or under. Brits, as far as I understand, like to have the vocal under. There's no right answer. It's just a style, but depending on where you are in the world, you will have different way of mixing. And some people are really open to that and like to learn about that. Like Indian music and French hip-hop. because I'm probably gonna go to France doing that soon. French hip hop, you need to have the music and the vocal way above it. Like, that's how they like it over there. This is how the most influential records were mixed, and this is what people are expecting. When I went to see the musical on Tuesday, it was mixed way too under for the crowd. Second language, English, hip hop, because it was Hamilton. Those of you who knows, hip hop flow. It was hard. It was hard to get it. I bet French hip hop goes nuts. Well, there's two kind of hip hop. There's French Canadian and like from France. French stuff is really in your face. But if you, I don't know, I don't have any example to give you, but take a quick look at into your favorite streaming app. Go French hip hop, especially stuff from the 2000, if you can find anything. Just for a few seconds, listen to that. Open yourself culturally for a second. Listen to that. Even if you don't understand, it's okay. You're gonna hear stuff. You're gonna hear the level of vocal, the level of beat, the kind of beat. Also, French hip hop is really lo-fi stuff. Hurley lo-fi, Hurley remix. A really good example of French DJ that you would know will be Daft Punk. Those guys were born in French. Those guys were born in France, and they adapt their style to be more international mix-wise, but they still remain that low. They kept that lo-fi hip-hop stuff, and it really relates on the Hurley French hip-hop from the 2000s. This is really when they start to go international. This is when we start to hear about them here in Canada, because not everybody who speak French has the same background culture. French is spoken in pretty much all the continents. Africa, not Canada is not a continent. North America. I don't know much about South America, but I'm pretty sure somebody somewhere speaks French there. And maybe as a second language. A lot of people in Europe speak French. But it's all different, and we all have different kind of cultural background. Pretty much the same way that the US and the Brits are English, but not the same kind of English and not the same kind of artists, different background culture-wise. But take a minute and listen to, just for fun, French hip-hop. Grab whatever you feel, and it's going to give you another cultural experience of stuff being mixed in a different way. To give you an idea for you American out there that might know a little bit about a band called Iron Maiden, it's kind of the same thing as listening to Maiden, or, well, actually it's a Brit band, but if you listen to Iron Maiden and you listen to the mix, not really the tone, because the tones are relevant with the years, but if you listen to the mix, the instrument, the bass, is thin and really high in the mix, almost to the point of the vocal, almost as loud as the vocal. So you're gonna have a different mixing style when it comes to Iron Maiden. If you go see Iron Maiden live, I think it's still the front of house is still Pooch. I'm pretty sure he's pushing that bass guitar way more on Maiden than anything else. And it's just a different approach. You know, there's no one way to mix. Every single band has their special, you know, way of being mixed. Some of them are probably more classical approach. Let's say Rock Band 101 is, you have your bass drum, your kick snare, your vocal, your guitars, and the bass goes under, and the back vocal are really in the back, and that's your typical, cliche mix. But if you start to go in stuff like Maiden, you're gonna find that some element of the mix are way up, more than on most bands. It's a matter of tone, it's a matter of, approach to certain sound. Here in Quebec, we also have, funny enough, a band that don't apply to the rules. We have a band called Malajube, and the vocals are buried on purpose. Like, the vocal are under the mix, and it's really not typical for French Canadian band. We usually have the vocal over the band, but some band decided to have an artistic approach, and they just did bury the vocal in the mix and calling it a day, and people liked it for some reason. Iron Maiden is such a dope tone live. Yeah, that's probably Pooch. He's a really good sound engineer. There's not a lot of people out there, to be honest, that sounds really good live, or are really good live sound engineer. Most of them are okay, but I saw some disaster, to be honest. I saw some of my favorite band and left the arena pissed because I didn't hear anything. I remember seeing Iron Maiden before it was Pooch. It was probably their old sound engineer. I think they had the same sound engineer for 30 something years before he retired, and it was Pooch. Nowadays, from what I hear, it's amazing live. The technology also is better nowadays when it comes to PA. We're talking about 2005 versus now. PA technology, is way better now. Software, calculating coverage. But yeah, I did an A/B test on Maiden. Old PA, old sound engineer, new PA, new sound engineer, and man, there is a difference. Pooch is really doing a great job live. But I saw, some band that sounded really good live, and you guys probably know the engineer that I'm going to talk about here is Evanescence. I saw Eddie Mapp mix Evanescence a few times. I used to date a girl who was really into Evanescence, so we did. It's a band that I like, but not over the top. But she was really into it, so I was like, okay, cool, let's go to some shows, and I like the band, so it's a fun activity. We went to some Evanescence show, and Eddie did a great job every single time. Back in the day, he was touring with Pro 6, if I remember correctly. And I did a quick chat with the guy. Really cool dude, really fun to talk to. He was really open. He took time after the show and talked to me. I was like, okay, sure, well, what you got going on? And for some reason, I was starstruck back in the day. It's a long time ago. We're talking about Evanescence's second album, so it's 2009, 10? 2009, 10-ish. No, actually, way before that. It's probably 2005, 2006. Anyway, all that to say that Eddie Mapp is another great sound engineer that do live. Started in the studio and is doing a lot of live now. As far as I know, now he's out with Pantera. He's one of the flag. He's one of the main operator of HD96. He's done a lot of promotion video with these guys. Pantera's currently running with an HD96 now. So, if you ever heard Pantera on the last Metallica tour, they were using a Midas. And for some reason, Metallica replaced their sound engineer. They replaced Big Mick, who used to be the main, biggest axe sound engineer running Midas. He was one of the few guys running XL8, but that's before the Pro X. He was one of the guys that did that. That didn't transition first, and he was advertising Midas big time. And nowadays, I think Metallica is on Digico because they have a new front of house person, and I think the Metallica world has changed and is now only run by Digico. Don't quote me on that, but if I remembered what I saw from some fan videos, the front of house console is Digico now. Okay, last connection. Last XLR connector before I'm gonna have to pack my stuff and leave. I'm leaving on a jet plane. If you know that song. I'll be leaving on a jet plane soon. But I'll be back. Yet I know when I'll be back again. What are your plans for the weekend, guys? What are you, anybody got a interesting gig? Digico need to let us color code channels. Yeah. I didn't have time to dive that deep into Digico, to be honest. And last time I did, color coding challenge was the least of my concern. I was running a few headsets on the live show, and I had a perfect PA, to be honest. I had really cool Mayor Lion at the Montreal Casino when I did, and I didn't have time to bother about the color of my channel strip, but this is something that I usually care a lot about. Hold on, let me finish that connection here, and I'm gonna keep dropping that cable. Well, I'm reading the chat, and the DOS says I'm doing an event for Nike this weekend using a DM7. Nice. I didn't have the pleasure to work with a DM7s yet, but I heard good comment about it. It's like a really good Yamaha, right? Like everything that we like about Yamaha. Ease of use, premium rack, and ease of use. Sorry, not a fanboy of Yamaha. I heard that the DM7 is good. It's really, really good. It's the best console that they ever did. Well, other than the Rivage stuff. But it's not the same. It's not the same markets anyway. The Rivage stuff is about the same price as a full-on Digico, so I hope it's good. having a hard time here. This one didn't want to behave. All right, last one done. We are 11 connector in today. That's gonna be enough for me. I need to breathe some fresh air, to be honest. Even if I have a fan over there, it's still getting a little. I gotta start to get a little smell. I need to open up the window of the house, I think. Oops, come on. It's the last one. Of course it's gonna be hard on me. DM7 is nice, but it has the worst touchscreen ever. Okay, on a scale of M7CLs to 10, how bad is it? Honestly, the wing has spoiled me. I expect a lot of everything that costs more than $2,000. Yeah. When you think about it, seriously, the amount of stuff that you get on a compact for 2.5, I believe, 2.5 US. Man, it's hard to beat. It's really putting the industry back on, like, okay, how much is that thing? And it only does that. And you need to spend $1,000 on plugins, wink wink, for it to work, or for it to have an expander or a de-esser. Really? Behringer's got a lot of people by the balls, to be honest. They really know what they're doing. I hope here's a feature that I don't know if it's possible or not, but you guys can let me know. Do you mean no, this is actually absolutely not what I'm talking about. Like when you pay $5,000 for a console, that you need to spend another $1,500 Canadian on it to get the plugins to work. Because, you know, they're built in. It's not like you just need to unlock them. It's not like you need to put an expansion card on it, or actually, you know what? Lie to me. Tell me that I need an expansion card for that to work, and I'll buy it. I'm buying some hardware that I can remove from the console if I ever want to upgrade from an SQ5 to an SQ7. Did I say SQ? Oh. No, I'm not talking about LNE at all. But yeah, that's about it. That was a cool one today. Did some plugs. Better ratio than yesterday, time-wise, for sure. Just gonna clean up a little bit here. So okay, a few more questions, guys, and a few more comments, and I'm gonna need to run to grab a plane. Biggest problem is you can't transfer the license of the plugin. Yeah, once you unlock it, it goes with the console, and it's a double-edged sword, because if you were to sell that console, of course everything's gonna go with it. Everything's gonna be in it, you can sell it and ask more because you unlock the plugin. But if you want to upgrade, you can't. That's a little, you know, pain in the butt. The DM7 is almost 2 seconds of delay time. You mean when you select something, it's just like take a second? Okay. Yeah, the wing. The wing is really cool in that sense because it's quick. The firmware feels quick even on the older console. I still have my original gray wing that I'm using every single show. It's currently out on a tour and it's gonna probably do some way more show in the future. Yeah, it's quick. It's like fast. The only thing that is not fast on my console is the fader because I put them on low speed mode because I want to save the fader. I try to as much as I can not to replace the fader in a short-term manner, so make them go slow is less stress on the motor. And seriously, I don't need to go super quick on my fader. When I mix, everything is usually slow, and I learned that from actually my sound teacher at school. Like the first gig that I went to see, he needed to do, like, it was a no sound check show gig, so line check go with a band he's usually touring with, and some stuff in the first song were really out of balance for that room, so he just readjust everything, but really slow. He didn't went like, okay, this. He went like, okay, guitar lower, vocal higher, track slowly going up, you know, being in control, slow and steady, did the trick. And I was like, okay, it's more seamless to go this way, so I went with that approach, and this is why I don't care having my fader on the wing being slow, because it's perfect the way it is. It's slow, great. Take your time, change layer, make sure you grab the right thing. It's not a guitar solo. If it's a guitar solo thing, okay, I get that, but otherwise, take your time, easy, just go slow, in and out. You'll be fine. All right, guys, it will be time for me to go. Thank you very much for being part of this live stream with me. If you watch in playback, make sure to say hi. I read all the comments. If you have any question for any more stuff that we're doing, I'm gonna do some stream again on Monday. I should be back Monday, no problem. I'm gonna do another live stream on Monday, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my random live stream. Until the next one, I want you guys to please take care of yourself, and see you all Monday.